Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today taking a look at the 6-inch Black Series 40th Anniversary Empire Strikes Back Han Solo in Carbonite. That's a mouthful. And in case you're wondering where to find this, it's going to be on Amazon. It's their exclusive. Retails for $14.99. And here's a look at that packaging. As I mentioned, it's the 40th anniversary, so it is released on the card back like you would have received for the vintage line. They did the same thing for the 40th anniversary of Star Wars, and we're getting that once again. Top left corner, you're getting a shiny silver sticker noting this is the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. As for the card artwork, you get the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back logo, his name underneath that and off to the side. Nice image of Han Solo in that Carbonite block, although this is from Return of the Jedi and not showing an Empire Strikes Back scene. I got mixed feelings about that. Feel like they could have used an image from Empire and not Jedi. Maybe it works better with the framing of the card. I guess that's enough to say about that. And then through the blister, you see the Carbonite block, and tucked away behind that is going to be the stand that you can use to hold this thing upright or in a horizontal position. On the back of the card, kind of your basic vintage collection looking layout. Along the top, you got 5 figures that are currently available in the 6-inch Black Series line, carded as the 40th anniversary celebration of Empire. Below that, you got the notation stating that they are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Empire. And of course, you have that done in multiple languages. And then the bottom half of the card is just your legal information. Taking a look at this out of the packaging, and I think it's a fantastic looking piece of gray plastic. And this is not the first release of this particular Carbonite block. They did this in 2013, as you can see by the date stamp on the back. And this was available for the San Diego Comic-Con Boba Fett Carbonite Han Solo box set. I was not able to get my hands on that one. Orders for it sold out very quickly, so I don't have both to be able to show you. From the pictures I've seen online, I think this is a pretty nice improvement. The photos I saw of the original release had this heavy dark wash on it, a lot of brush lines in it. And while this does still have some of those brush lines of the wash, that aside, everything else certainly seems to be identical with it. Same sculpt, and otherwise same detailing with the paint job for the monitor stations on the side of the block. Overall dimensions of this are 2 15/16 of an inch wide, and that's going by the widest point, the little monitor station sticking out at the side. And the overall height of just the Carbonite block, if it were standing straight up and down, is 6 7/8 of an inch tall. And with it leaned back on its stand, you're looking at an even 7 inches tall. So overall, I feel like this scales up very well with the other 6-inch figures in the line. So you can see next to Boba Fett, things are looking pretty good. I think the sculpting for what we see of Han Solo sticking out through that Carbonite looks really good. Lots of details in the sculpt. You can make out plenty of facial features, his hairline, the sunken in part for where his eyes are, his nose, of course his mouth, or more so his lips kind of really sticking out. And the profile of the sculpt certainly resembles Han Solo. For what you're seeing of the chest, the hands, that detailing looks pretty good. You're getting some ruffles in his shirt. You can make out the collar along his neck. And even that his shirt is opened up on the top of his chest. Sculpting of the hands looks nice. Right hand kind of in that half clutched position. His left hand more wide open. Decent separation for the fingers that are sticking out from the Carbonite block. And then you're getting some pant detailing that you're able to make out. You can almost make out where his buckle line would be for his belt. More folds in the fabric, and then it kind of disappears into that Carbonite block until you get to the bottom where his feet are sticking out. As for that Carbonite block, or that frozen gas, you're getting a lot of, I don't know, what would you say, striations or something, or just where that liquid has kind of frozen, and you're getting a lot of ripples in that block. You're getting a very nice dirt wash applied that's helping to highlight some of the crevices throughout the top of this piece. So it certainly highlights the body features, but also settles in well to just give a little bit of a grungy look to the block. And aside from the gray color, there does seem to be just a nice metallic silver paint. So it's got a very nice reflective quality to it. On the edges of each side of the block, you have the 4 monitoring stations. Pretty nice detail for the sculpt on each of those. Feel like there's some interesting choices on what they chose to paint and not paint. If we're looking on the top left side, you got a silver stripe for the top 3 stations. And then that bottom one, for whatever reason, no silver paint. And then same goes just for various pieces of the rest, where the top one has 2 other silver blocks painted in. The second and third one down has 1 other silver spot. And then that bottom one just has the 2 right blocks painted in. I don't really mind. Maybe they don't necessarily need it to be painted. But what painting is done, certainly staying right where it needs to be. It's not bleeding out on the edges or anything. And like I said, the detail to each of those stations is looking really good. on the right side of the block. Bottom three looking pretty much the same as the left side. That top one, though, is going to be where Lando kneeled down, checked Han's vitals, and it had the flashing green screen, which they do have painted in here. I will say from what I watched in Empire, when he's going through the hallway laying horizontal, it does seem like the top station on that left side should have been painted green also. Again, it's getting pretty nitpicky. But anyways, back to that right side, top one. I like that you got the checkered pattern in there, the the little squares that made out that display. Top side of the carbonite block, you've got some vents in there and various other detail pieces. And then on the bottom side, looking the same as the top. So the back side of the block, aside from your date stamp and, Hasbro's legal stamping and such, you got 2 holes, which he can be used to mount on the leg accessories that he came with, that you've been seeing him spin around here on the table with. Otherwise, just plain gray plastic. Obviously no articulation to talk about with this thing. So moving on to the accessory that came with it, which is the stand. Same stand that was available when he was released as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. 3 pieces to it. First, you got these 2 L brackets that snap together. Peg from each slides into the top, and then a peg at the bottom. Once you have those together, it holds pretty secure. That bracket comes together to form a circle at the top where it snaps into the bottom hole on the carbonite block. And then at the bottom edge, you got a little lip sticking out that rests on the indents within the carbonite block. So it stays very secure. And if you choose to display him in the horizontal position, as he was shown gliding through the hallway on Bespin, you take the oval part of the stand, slide it onto the back side of that L bracket, and now you got him floating in the horizontal position. And you can choose which way you want him laying down. So if you want the stand at his head so that it's his feet that are hanging out, just use the other hole on the back of the carbonite block. You get the same indents on the top. So you got 2 options for how you want to display him in this method. And overall, it's a nice added touch. I like that they gave this as another option for displaying. I do wish it was a little bit more transparent. It's not a full-on white piece of plastic. There certainly is a bit of translucency to it. Not a deal breaker for me, though. It's still pretty cool. So overall, for me, it's a great addition to the line. And when this came out originally back in 2013 as part of the set, I really thought they said that this was something that they were going to release as a standalone piece. And as time went on, I thought that was something that just kind of fell by the wayside. So it's nice to get this released now. And since it's not a full-on figure, I appreciate the lower price point. Certainly, since this is something that is generally released as an accessory. Usually when you buy the Han Solo carbonite block, it comes with a Han Solo figure. They could have gone the extra mile and done that. But with the lower price point, I guess I don't mind that they didn't do that. At the end of the day, I'm just glad it got released. So that's going to wrap this one up. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this figure, or I guess stand of plastic, in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.